Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to explore one of the most fascinating chess puzzles you'll ever see. Let's get started. In this position, White starts the play and wins the game. What do you think White's next move is? Let's first examine the moves that aren't winning moves. Capturing the f7 pawn is certainly not the move White is looking for, because Black easily captures the pawn with the queen. Capturing the h7 pawn might seem like a winning move, since White can then capture the f7 pawn, giving check to the Black king. Black captures the pawn. White moves the queen to h3, and Black is checked again. Black is forced to move to g8. White moves the queen to g3, giving check again. At this point, Black's next move doesn't matter. Whether they go to f8, h8, or h7, it's checkmate, because White will move the queen to g7 and checkmate. But there's an if here. If in this position, Black doesn't capture the pawn and instead moves the king to h8, White doesn't have another winning move. There are other scenarios. For example, if White captures Black's knight with the queen, Black can move the queen to e6, giving check. White is forced to move the king, and Black captures the g6 pawn, giving check again, continuing the play, where White doesn't have a winning move. So we need a move that brings White closer to winning. And the winning move is to move the White bishop to c7. Now you might say to yourself, what a foolish move, because with this move, White loses the queen. In this position, Black has two options: either capture the bishop with the knight, or capture the White queen. Let's first examine what happens if Black captures the bishop with the knight. Black captures the bishop with the knight, defending the queen. What do you think the winning move is for White in this situation? The best move for White is to capture the f7 pawn, giving check. Black can't capture the pawn with the queen because the White queen is pinning it, so they are forced to move the king. If Black moves the king to the corner, White moves the pawn to f8, promoting it to a queen, giving check. Black is forced to capture the queen, and in the next move, White captures the queen and checkmates. So Black is forced to move the king to f8 to protect the queen and prevent the checkmate. Now, what do you think is the best move for White in this situation? The best move for White is to capture the knight with the queen. In this situation, Black's queen is under attack by the pawn, and if the queen moves anywhere else, it will eventually lead to checkmate. So this is what happens when Black captures the bishop with the knight. Now let's go back to this position. As we saw, when Black captures the bishop with the knight, it eventually leads to checkmate. So the best move for Black in this situation is to capture the queen. At this point, you might ask yourself, how can White win the game with just a bishop, a pawn, and a king? What do you think is the best winning move for White in this situation? Best move for White here is to capture the f7 pawn, giving check. And the reason this is White's best move is that the Black king is forced to move to the corner. Because if the Black king moves to f8, the White bishop will quickly checkmate. So Black is forced to move to h8. What is the best move for White now? Best move for White is to move the bishop to e5. Here, White's plan is to checkmate Black with their king. Now Black has to stop White's king, but how? If Black moves the queen to d8, giving check, White moves the king, and eventually Black is checkmated. If Black tries to move a pawn to create a path for the king, White moves the king to g6, and Black is checkmated. So Black has to be careful. The best move Black can make is to move the queen to c5, attacking the bishop. Why? Because in this situation, if White moves the king and gives check, Black can capture the bishop with the queen. White captures the queen, and considering the position of the pieces, Black is in a winning position. What do you think is the best winning move for White in this situation? The best winning move for White is to move the bishop to b2 to keep Black in a checkmate threat. Now Black is still in a checkmate threat, so they need to stop White's king again. The situation for Black is the same as before. If they move the queen, White moves the king, and Black is checkmated. If Black tried to attack the bishop with the queen, White can still checkmate by moving the king, so Black can't move the queen. The best move for Black is to move the knight to c7. Now, all White has to do is move the king to checkmate Black. But they can't because all the surrounding squares are occupied by Black's pieces. What do you think is the winning move for White in this position? The winning move for White here is to move the bishop to a1. By moving the bishop to a1, White puts Black in a zugzwang position. Remember, Zugzwang is a chess situation where it's your turn to move, but any move you make will worsen your position. As we said before, black can't move the queen because as soon as they do, white will move the king and checkmate black. Same applies to the knight. If black moves the knight, white will move the king and checkmate black. Even the h7 pawn can't move. If it does, white will move the king and checkmate black. Black can't move any of these pieces except the a5 pawn, so they're forced to move the pawn forward. White moves the bishop to b2. Black pushes the pawn forward, attacking the bishop. White moves the bishop to a1. Black pushes the pawn forward. White moves the bishop to b2. Black continues to push the pawn, reaching a1, and promotes it to a queen. White captures the queen and forces black to move one of the pieces that they shouldn't move. If black moves the queen, white moves the king, and it's checkmate. If black moves the knight, white moves the king, and it's checkmate. If black moves the pawn, white moves the king, and it's checkmate. No matter what move they make, it leads to their own checkmate. A truly fascinating puzzle where black is completely trapped. It's incredible to see how a few precise moves by white can force black into such a hopeless position. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss out on our next video. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep sharpening those chess skills.